20 years. P90X is 20 years old and still going, maybe not as strong, but still going. Yes, before the long list of 60 and 90-day fitness programs, heck, even before the most trusted name in fitness, the shake weight, there was the original P90X. Before SpaceX, Tesla, YouTube, Bitcoin, iPhones, even before the cinematic genius that was Attack of the Clones, there was this guy, Tony Horton. A good deal of you listening were probably not shot out of your mama when P90X first arrived on the scene. Or maybe you were just young, growing up in a better time of innocence, getting hair in funny places for the first time. Indeed, the world of home fitness has changed in radical ways, and this was ground zero. And through all that, the original P90X is still selling, well, at least better than a shake weight. So what better way to celebrate P90X being 20 years old than to offer a worthy virgin sacrifice? Whoops, wrong notes. Than to make old-time review that is not created by a self-serving sycophant coach. A multi-level marketing lowlife scum-sucking degenerate pox on humanity. Well, you're about to find out. All I ask is for a tiny sliver of your immortal soul and for you to hit those like and subscribe buttons. You'll be a better person for it. Trust me. Now that I'm done self-gratifying, it's time to break down the P90X system and see how each workout holds up in the year of our Lord 2024. In that time, you could have had kids who have all grown up to be complete failures by now. For his part, Tony Horton went on to make a baker's dozen of fitness workouts for Beachbody before being cast away like an expired ham sandwich. As for P90X, you have to wonder how a system originally released on DVD and VHS holds up even today. A program that took Beachbody from making Walmart bargain bin workouts to the juggernaut it is today. So let's pop a tape in Granny's VCR and dig in. Even 20 years later, I have yet to see much surpass the original chest and back. It's 2 rounds of 12 moves alternating between push-ups and pull-ups. This is without a doubt one of the toughest workouts in P90X, and for good reason. It's just pushing and pulling until your upper body wants to split in half. Even now, I still want to puke after heavy pants. I'm not sure a workout like this can ever get old. I highly advise getting some push-up stands not designed by angry midgets, such as the kind used in the video. This was shot before Tony created his new metal push-up stands, which have long since been discontinued and replaced with large ABS plastic ones. The kind used here are very unstable, as I learned. Also, invest in a pull-up system that is not a $10 doorway bar from Amazon. Spend a little cash on either the P90X bar or one of the million knockoffs because they are a game changer. And this many years later, you have an excellent chance of finding one used for a steal of a deal. What also makes chest and back come together is the perfect blend of the cast. Bobby, Scotty, and Moraine are just some fun people you like to work out with, and this makes this DVD easy to pop in time after time. Bobby Stevenson is the fun, quiet guy who doesn't punch Tony right between the freaking eyes for accusing him of dogging it. Scotty loves okra. And Moraine is a sweet, young, innocent lady who I would highly advise you never look up her prior acting experience. Hey, I told you not to do it. I told you. But in her defense, she doesn't act like she invented cold fusion for doing 10 reps. Oh, just wait. I'm getting there. You can just about trace every incarnation of plyometric videos for the past 2 decades right back to PlyoX, and for good reason. PlyoX does more to make you explosively fast than just about anything else. I remember the first time I did PlyoX. Damn near killed me. And even today it still gives me a run for my money. So how does PlyoX hold up after scores of imitators? Well, surprisingly well. In fact, it stands at the top in many ways as it does not try to dilute itself with cardio, but rather focuses entirely on what you wanted in the first place, plyometrics. Most post-PlyoX videos try to add a heavy dose of cardio, which means one can have a half tank going into focused plyo moves. This is one of the consequences of certain insanity workouts. Tony just keeps it pure, and that's why it works. Plus, it's hard to slack off when Eric is going strong with a prosthetic leg. Be sure to warm up those shoulders. Maybe do it like a pterodactyl backing out of trouble. Yeah, well, let's just move past that awkward moment and continue with the review of an otherwise top-notch workout. Shoulders and arms is about as close to a traditional weight routine as it comes. 95% of all the moves involve low reps, high weight. Most workouts since this have the opposite task with higher reps and lower weight, which is probably better for the ladies, but us dudes want a bit of mass. Tony shows both options, so everyone comes out a winner here. And oh yeah, don't forget the tip of the day.
Don't smash your face, okay? Let somebody else do that.
There was a lot of talk back in the day about Tony gushing over Drea, a little thick, and I suppose there's some merit to that. But as I see it, Tony's just clearly a flirting kind of guy and means nothing by it. I mean, let's face it, he's Italian.
Hey, hey, oh, hey, oh, oh, hey!
If moaning and bitching about Yoga X's 90-minute runtime were currency, Tony would live on a mountain of gold-plated unobtainium. Despite the genius behind Yoga X, it will forever be clouded by the weeping and gnashing of those who cannot look past the time on the clock. For anyone who has sucked it up and gone the whole round, by the time it's over, something wonderful happens. An entire 90 minutes is spent focusing on something else besides work, kids, or even the neighborhood emergency evacuation order. It is truly a remarkable feeling that is hard to get in only 30 or 45 minutes. However, time is something we must all abide by, and 90 minutes makes this a non-starter for many people, myself included, now that my schedule includes 4 kids fixing their friggin' cars and learning guitar for no justifiable reason whatsoever. Fortunately, Tony has come out with many other yoga incarnations, so feel free to explore some of those. Just don't ignore yoga entirely lest you grow old before your time, and whenever possible, go back to Yoga X. If I could sum up legs and back, it would be single leg wall squats. 20 years later, and this workout still terrifies me. When you do repeated sets of leg presses and pull-ups, you are going after 2 large muscle groups, so be sure to have some kind of pre-workout drink before tackling this. I feel bad for Katie, poor kid, has been branded as the Jar Jar Binks of P90X. But we do have, maybe I have a man crush, Bobby Stevenson, so that makes up for it. Yes, Bobby Stevenson is the epitome of manly cool in any workout, ready to break out the 40 pounds for strip set curls to keep up with Take a Break Tony and be big enough to say, screw that, going for the 30s next time. Bobby can borrow my chainsaw, take my kids out for ice cream, and hit on my wife at the neighborhood barbecue. It's all cool. Sure, Katie treats 10 basic arm curls like she just climbed Mount Everest barefoot, but if you can get past that 5-second blip, you will find a workout that is brutal yet fun. And no matter what the cost, I will always do 11 reps, not 10. Tony may have the occasional comedic antics, but this particular crew is having none of it. With Phil as their frozen golem overlord, this cast is as cold as a catatonic Vulcan. Too early in the morning, maybe? Laura might have a case of laryngitis? Phil lost a big court case? Man, just no smiles in this video. Still, this one's a killer with push-ups, curls, and presses. No moves repeat, so the fun stays fresh, even when Phil tells Tony to get out of his face.
But you get lost.
I love P90X, I really do, but I am not a fan of Cardio X. There's a bit of yoga to warm up, some Kenpo moves, and a bit of low-impact plyo. But if you're at all experienced with Beachbody's other offerings, then Cardio X will quickly fall to the wayside. Even a T25 Alpha routine will kick the ever-loving lederhosen off Cardio X. And should you ever be a fan of Asylum or Insanity, well, don't bother unless you're really running a bad hay fever. Co-starring Pam, and I doubt anyone but Tony calls her Blam. This workout is, as one would expect, a core assault by going after multiple muscle groups at the same time. No exercises to repeat. It certainly seems that since this workout arrived, a lot of fitness programs have seen the benefit of core routines and have followed suit. This one requires a bit of concentration to ensure core engagement, and the better you get at it, the harder it might seem. That only means you're doing it right. This one was doomed for me from the start because I'm a martial arts snob of the 10th degree. I took nearly 15 years of traditional karate taught by a form-obsessed old-school instructor, so when Wesley does a horse dance that is practically standing up, I find myself yelling at the screen in Japanese for him to do 30 push-ups and then get up and do it right. Namaki no mo! Namaki no mo! Kenpo X is what you would expect. Punches, kicks, and combos. It's pretty light on the actual cardio, but might suit a beginner just starting out who needs to work on flexibility and coordination. From interviews since, I gather even Tony was a bit unimpressed by the outcome of Kenpo X, given that he has since revisited the idea in the P90X Plus series and again in P90X 3, which has Alice and the rest of the cast helping out as skilled martial artists. You hate it, but you love it. Amazing how after all these years, there's hardly an ab routine out there that doesn't borrow from this, at least in part. This one might feel a bit repetitious fairly soon, but that's not a knock against its quality or effectiveness. In fact, I would say that out of the P90X and 2 and 3, this would be the most difficult of the bunch. You know, even after 2 decades, you cannot deny P90X still has the goods, even when compared to a mountain of imitators that have followed in its wake. The fact that the program has spawned so many 90-day programs is a testament to its successful formula. The production quality still holds up, but be mindful that this was originally made for DVD and the now thankfully dead VHS format. So don't think you can play it on a 50-inch Panasonic HD TV and get to see the pores on Tony's face. This is standard, non-HD format, so keep that in mind. The sequels P90X2 and X3 went the HD route, but who knows, maybe someone will reformat this for widescreen 4K someday. Anything's possible. The cast is very competent in all the videos, and they really did use a test group to iron out the bugs before going in front of the cameras. The attention to detail is incredible, and this tradition carried on for most Beachbody programs during the golden age. They're somewhat hit and miss now, sending some products down the heat rack like a McRib. In fact, it was that old school OCD attitude when it comes to detail that made other programs often look like cheap shoots done in a basement. Would I recommend this today? Yeah, of course I would. Although I would also mention that there are a multitude of other options available to fill some of the gaps in P90X. In particular, the cardio options. In fact, P90X is just about the perfect program to hybridize with practically any fitness program out there. Interchangeability between P90X2 and X3 are of course a given. It's also a tip of the hat to Tony Horton, who even after all these years looks practically the same. So if you want a program that is great on its own and yet still incredibly modifiable, then P90X is holding strong even 20 years later. That's pretty impressive when you consider how so many other programs have come and gone without a second thought. As for Tony, well, he's still doing his thing, only now it's at his own company, Power Nation Fitness. Glad to see he's still going strong. Really hope you enjoyed this look back at P90X, and of course, if you liked what you see here, be sure to like or subscribe, and until next time, stay strong.